It's your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another episode of Hood Tales. In this video, I'll be taking it back to 2013, to Queens, New York, to discuss the tragic case of a polyamorous live-in love triangle that turned from fantasy to fatal for 38-year-old mother of three, Sheryl Outerbridge. But before we get into this video, please don't forget to hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and join the Tony 2 Times family. Tap that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Also, if you'd like to see more episodes of Hood Tales, please click the link to the playlist in the description box after this video to get caught up. And be sure to share this video with everyone you know. Stay tuned until the end to hear all the details. All right, let's get into it. Sheryl Outerbridge was born on October 27th, 1975. She was a native of Harlem, New York. Sheryl had a beautiful smile and an open heart. She loved to spend time with her family and close friends. Sheryl grew up an avid reader, but struggled in school. Growing up, Sheryl's home life was disrupted by men her mother brought home. Sheryl witnessed her mother in and out of toxic and harmful relationships and getting involved in illicit substances as a result. Sheryl's mother eventually lost her life from complications with her health. Since Sheryl had trouble in conventional school, she earned her general equivalency diploma. She got a job as a bank teller and did her best at life. Sheryl ended up having 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. Sheryl's children were her pride and joy, but it seemed destined for Sheryl to make the same mistakes as her mother. Right as Sheryl was up, she no longer had her job as a bank teller. Thereafter, she had a hard time maintaining stable employment. She also had terrible luck with men, and they came and went like her jobs. Some of the men Sheryl were dating were problematic, shady, and toxic. So much so that her 2 daughters went to live with a grandmother and their father, and her son was living with his father. In 2010, Sheryl had a boyfriend who was unstable and physically harmful. One night in Sheryl's central Harlem apartment building, neighbors woke up to a hallway filled with smoke. It was coming from Sheryl's door. One person said a man had set Sheryl's door on fire. Sheryl had to get out of the situation, and she desperately needed to find a way out. To get her mind off things, Sheryl went to a party and ended up meeting a man named Malik Wilkerson, who also went by Bishop. Sheryl was smitten by Bishop, and the two began talking. Sheryl started to confide in Bishop about her relationship with her boyfriend, who she was afraid to leave. Bishop ended up confronting Sheryl's boyfriend and scared him away. Not too long after that, Bishop moved into Sheryl's small Harlem apartment. And so did Bishop's wife, Devonnee Wilkerson, who was also known as Phoenix. The arrangement was unconventional, and those close to Sheryl didn't necessarily agree with her choices. Despite others' objections, Sheryl was very candid about her lifestyle and hid it from no one. One time, she brought Bishop to a family cookout and referred to him as the Don. Sheryl and Phoenix came across as close in spite of them being completely different in all aspects. The 3-way relationship looked to be going well based on pictures posted on Facebook by Sheryl. The trio would go on dates and rendezvous. They went to meet a celebrity chef at the chef's restaurant where Phoenix worked. They also took trips to Rockaway Beach, They cooked together, whipping up homemade pizzas, and on a wintry day, they even built a dreadlock snowman with Phoenix smiling front and center. It all seemed so fairy tale-like. At some point, the Wilkersons moved back to their place at a two-family house owned by their relatives in South Jamaica, Queens, and Sheryl went with them. Sheryl had her own room in the disheveled two-bedroom apartment. On one occasion, when Sheryl's friend visited, they talked on the couch together with Bishop, while Phoenix was holding a rolling paintbrush as she was applying a fresh coat of paint on the living room walls. The dynamics were a bit off, but Sheryl kept up the facade until the signs became too visible to keep hidden. When Sheryl would return to her apartment in Harlem, she had black eyes, split lips, and marks on her face that resembled those from a cigarette. In November 2023, she told one of her friends that Bishop had put his hands on her, causing her jaw to be broken. She confided in her friend that the love triangle was lopsided. She told her friend that her true relationship was with Bishop and that Phoenix simply gave in to his will. Sheryl tried to stay at her apartment in Harlem, but the Wilkersons would show up and knock on her door. They would practically order Sheryl to go back to their place in Queens, and Sheryl would go back to the husband and wife. On Monday, December 2nd, 2013, Sheryl took an opportunity to get away from the Wilkersons when she told them she was going to the store. Sheryl left around 7 p.m. and didn't return. Bishop started calling Sheryl's friends, enraged to the point his voice was cracking when they answered. He told her friend he thought Sheryl was out seeing other men. Bishop and Phoenix wanted Sheryl back and decided they were going to go looking for her. They drove around Queens in their 2001 Chrysler Town & Country in the dark hours of the morning. They soon found Sheryl at a train station in Jamaica. When they approached Sheryl, she was on an escalator. The Wilkersons forcefully took Sheryl back to their home in Queens. The couple was furious with her for trying to leave, and they were gonna make her pay. Bishop was also upset because he believed for certain Sheryl was seeing other men while she was gone. The couple said they heard the voices of 4 men in the background of Sheryl's phone when she answered. When they got back to the house in Queens, the couple gave Sheryl a series of commands. Sheryl complied. Once her clothes were off, Phoenix noticed what was a new tattoo on Sheryl's behind that read, "Bish Baby." Bish, short for Bishop, is a pet name Phoenix had given her husband. Sheryl had recently got the tattoo on her 38th birthday in October. Phoenix grew even more enraged, feeling like Sheryl had crossed the line reserved for her. Bishop and Phoenix unleashed their wrath on Sheryl, injuring her badly. They used their hands, feet, paint roller, glass bottle, cigarette, cold water, and a hammer. Sheryl pleads for help. In agony, she calls out, "Daddy," referring to Bishop. Phoenix said when Sheryl did that, it added even more fuel to her rage. Daddy was another pet name Phoenix had for Bishop, and she felt Sheryl crossed another boundary. Phoenix said she snapped again, and that's when they used the beer bottle, cigarette, and hammer. After the unspeakable ordeal, the couple left Sheryl where she was. Phoenix got up for work the next morning. She claimed to have checked on Sheryl before leaving, and Sheryl was responsive but not coherent. Phoenix left for work at 8:30. At 9 a.m., Bishop called his wife to tell her that Sheryl wasn't looking too good. Phoenix returned home, and her brother, who was also at home but did not participate, took Sheryl to Jamaica Hospital. The brother left while Phoenix stayed at the hospital and spoke with police. She lied at first and told police they found Sheryl in the street near a train station suffering from a gunshot wound to her head. Because of how bad Sheryl looked, police believed her initial claims. Sadly, Sheryl's injuries were so severe, nothing could be done for her, and she was later pronounced gone at the hospital. Police later learned how Sheryl really lost her life. They no longer believed Phoenix's initial story. The investigation into Sheryl's slaying started to unravel a tangled web of a live-in love triangle that was brutally controlling. When Phoenix spoke with detectives again, she admitted to everything: the relationship she and her husband, Bishop, had with Sheryl, along with the terrible things they did that night Sheryl tried to get away. Phoenix also admitted to detectives that she feared her husband had fallen in love with Sheryl. Bishop went on the run and ended up in Pennsylvania. On the same day Sheryl was laid to rest in New Jersey, Devonnee Phoenix Wilkerson, 32, was arrested and charged with kidnapping and assault. Authorities caught up with Bishop in Pittsburgh. Once in custody, he awaited extradition back to New York. Upon his return back to Queens, Malik Bishop Wilkerson, 33, also faced the same charges as his wife. In May 2014, Devonnee Phoenix Wilkerson pleaded guilty and received a sentence of 20 years a month later. At her sentencing, Phoenix asked God for forgiveness and claimed that she was a religious person and what she did to Sheryl was out of character. She also apologized to her family and Sheryl's family. Bishop would also plead guilty a year later, and he also received 20 years behind bars. A couple of years into his sentencing, Bishop tried to end his life in his cell. May Sheryl Outerbridge continue to rest in peace. My belated condolences to the family. Sheryl was loved and is missed dearly to this very day. Her children are growing up, and her family keeps her memory alive. Despite Sheryl's choices, she did not deserve to be treated the way she was being treated. She believed in the fantasy of the three-way relationship, according to her sister. She believed Bishop would take care of her. By the time Sheryl wanted out, she was in too deep. Bishop and Phoenix acted on nothing but evil intentions. I feel like they preyed on a vulnerable Sheryl and just took over her life for their own twisted reasons. They never really cared about Sheryl. Fam, let's keep the discussion going and tell me your thoughts on this heartbreaking story, and also your thoughts on polyamorous relationships in general. Do you think they can actually work, or are they doomed from the start? Let me know in the comments below. All right, fam, that's it for this episode of Hood Tales. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times. Until next time.